Hello. Welcome, everybody. Woohoo! Who's excited to be here this morning for another Wealthy Winning Wednesday? Yay! Well, to kick us off today, go ahead and type into the chat where you're from, where you're joining us from today, so we can say hello and welcome. Also, you'll see at the top of the chat, I have put our new brokerage mastermind webinar series. Some of you have been asking about that. We're going to talk about that today, but we do have a replay. And in addition, we have a place where you can go and get it now, the entire series, and we have a coupon code for you as well. So good morning, everybody. Please let us know where you're calling in from, listening from. Oh, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca from Orlando, Florida. Shukita from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Welcome. Janice Carrasco from Hudson Valley, New York. Yay. Joe Johnston from Broomfield, Colorado. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And we're very excited about today's topic, which is operations management. And it's something we don't talk about very often, but the inner workings of the brokerage. So we're ready to get started. All right, we have Kelly listening from just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hey, welcome, Kelly. Then we have Zena Vallone from Bradenton, Florida. Welcome. Great, glad to have everybody joining us. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We got a lot to cover today. We're going to keep it to an hour. We have some great offers for you as well, and some knowledge takeaway tips, things you can put into action right away to rev up your brokerage and start being more profitable. And even though we're talking about operations leads to profit, efficient operations, right? So that's one of our first points. Let's go ahead and get started with our slide presentation. Start your own brokerage, blueprints to build your empire profitably. And that's what we've been talking about for the past 7 sessions. It should be noted that even though we are talking about building an empire, digging a strong foundation, we shouldn't always equate that with wanting a brokerage company that has massive amounts of agents. Yes, we should always be recruiting, looking for those right fits, and we always need to be building our company, but not everybody has the same end goal or end dream, and that's okay too. Today we're on step 7, session number 7, which is operations management, the internal business management of your brokerage. So welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you here today. And we have more joining us. Awesome. Great. Feel free to type into the chat any questions or comments you have, and definitely let us know where you're joining us from today so we can welcome you. In this series, we're learning about the Fortune 500 concepts as taught in business school and practiced at the top corporations all over the world that are very profitable. However, we're cutting out the M.B.A. price tag for you. That can be very expensive to learn all these concepts on your dime. So we're cutting that part out for you, and I'm just distilling down all the knowledge that you need to know today that's practical, no fluff, get your business revved up and going. All right, Jamie Willis says hello from Indianapolis. Hey there. Eric Nordum from Amsterdam. Thank you for joining us all the way across the pond there. And we'll keep going here. M.B.A. Broker Consultants, as you know, we're a business consulting company. We help you with business plans, We offer education, presentation, and also we offer consultations one-on-one with you and your brokerage firm on any topic that you choose. So let us know if we can help you in any way. Today we're going to have an activity workbook for you, bonus downloads, and as always, great resources. I'm going to go ahead and download the activity workbook so you can start working on that. All right, it's called Activity Worksheet 7. So you should be able to download that over on the side of your webinar, called Activity Worksheet 7. So go ahead and download that. Let me know in the chat bar if you got that and you can see it works for you. I think everybody knows a little bit about me, but I'm very excited to be here today. I'm honored that each of you have taken time out of your day to listen to what I have to say and see how I can help you grow your business. So together, we're elevating the standards of professionalism in our real estate industry. Our topic today is operations management. Now, every week we've been talking about how to lay out your blueprints to execute on your vision, start building the foundation, dig it, pour the foundation, have the floor and put up the exterior walls. That's what we did last week. This week, we're putting up those internal walls. So in your empire, you need those walls to make sure your business is operating efficiently and earning you profits. So that's what our topic is today, internal operations management. So as promised, the things we're going to cover today are the 3 functions of business, how to maximize profits and boost the bottom line, systems. I know this has been a recurring theme, but we can't emphasize it enough. Put 80% of your tasks on autopilot. We'll talk about best business practices, including policy and procedures manuals and how to automate everything. We're going to learn how to work on our business instead of in our business. And last, I'll introduce you to a daily dashboard system. We talked about it last time in session 6 as well. We'll talk about a little more. Before we get started, remember that success is contagious. You did not wake up this morning to be mediocre. You woke up this morning to make a difference in someone's life. So be successful, and your enthusiasm and your joy will rub off on others. Jamie says, got it? All right, good. Got the downloads. Perfect. Okay. What is your primary business goal? So we have a little poll for you here. We're going to go ahead and pull the poll up. What is your primary business goal? Okay, there we go. So is your primary business goal A, lower costs? Is it B, increase operational efficiency? Or is it C, maximize those profits? Okay, so A is you're lowering your costs, B, increase operational efficiency, or C is maximize profits. Okay, great. We have some answers coming in there. And I'm going to give you a little hint, but we're going to be learning about this in just a minute. By lowering your costs and increasing your operational efficiency simultaneously, that actually leads to maximizing your profits. So lowering costs is good because it maximizes your profits. Increasing operational efficiency is also good. It maximizes your profits. Put them both together, and C is my favorite answer. We have some great answers here. We're going to go ahead and end the poll now. 22% said B, 78% said C. All right, so let's see what the slide says here. Our number 1 goal in our business should be to maximize profits. And maximizing profit is done through, we said, lowering the cost, increasing operational efficiency, and put those together. That's how we maximize profits, right? Of course, there's the issue of revenue that needs to come in too. We've covered that in previous sessions, so we won't cover that today. Today will be all about increasing our operational efficiency. So how do we improve operational efficiency? Excuse me. I'm going to share a few tips from you from the Association of Accredited Small Business Consultants. I'm certified with AASBC as a small business consultant, and some of their tips are about maximizing profit is keeping your eye on the ball. Now, what I call that is, we have two eyes, so I say keep one eye on the profit and the future, and keep one eye on the bottom line of what's happening now in your business. So it's follow-up, attention to detail, and most importantly is to always have procedures in place and controlled measures. Now, real estate seems like it's sales. It seems like maybe it's hard to control, but actually, if you think about it, we do the same things over and over and over again. Why can't we create systems in place and create standardized procedures? It doesn't mean there can never be an exception to that, because there will be some, but it gives everybody some boundaries to be able to grow within. So this is a Fortune 500 concept. There are 3 business functions in any business. There are more, but they can all be categorized or boiled down into these 3 main functions. So the first is marketing. That includes generating the demand, going out and getting customers, as well as sales, which is taking orders or for products or services. So that's the input. That's where your, revenue is coming into the business. Then you have operations. Operations is what you do with those sales. Now that you have them, how do you process them? How do you fulfill the orders, right? So that's creating the product or service, managing the product or service, and delivering that product or service. And then we've delivered the service. Now what do? Now we count our profits. So that's the third part, finance. So that tracks your profitability, collects your money, and pays the bills in the finance category. Now, if you look at your worksheet, take a look at your worksheet. On the very first page, you'll see the 3 business functions: marketing, operations, and finance. There's some little spaces there to go ahead and write in at your company what tasks you do under each of these 3 categories, so you can see how they can be grouped together. Okay. All right. Hope everybody's doing good. Let me know if you have any questions. Please go ahead and type into the chat any questions you have at any time. We're here for you. So the keys for operations management are to work on your business instead of in your business. That means spend more time planning the direction and the strategy, like we talked about last week, and how you're going to get there, than actually doing the tasks yourself. If you're not doing the tasks yourself, who's going to be doing those? We have systems in place. The system will tell us who's doing that, right? So the first thing is knowledge. That's specific education. Well, congratulations, you're here doing that today. Number 2 are the systems for success. So systems has 3 areas: processes, preferably written down. That tells what, when, where. And the good thing about written processes is now you can either outsource, you can automate, or you can delegate. That makes your life easier because you don't have to figure out every task and recreate the wheel every time, right? Systems also tell who is responsible for doing what. So that eliminates confusion and allows people to know what what's expected of them, so they can meet those expectations. And also, if something is not expected of them, they know who to turn to for help. And also, the systems are backed up by either tools or technology. Now, remember, it's not always technology. There are tools that we use that might not necessarily be technological tools, but they're tools we use to get our tasks done. And so the procedures are carried out using those. The third thing is marketing. Now, marketing for new business should take 50% of our time. If you're a real estate agent, what are you marketing for? You're marketing for buyers, sellers, investors. But now you take a step back. You're a brokerage owner. Your agents go out and market for buyers and sellers. What do you market for? You market for agents, right? Now you can even take another step back, hire a manager to recruit, train your agents, do retention, coaching, supervise them. So say you hire a manager for that. Now you take another step back, and what are you doing? You are marketing now at a higher level for opportunities, things that you can take action upon, right? So we're always marketing and thinking about that. Number 4 is our metrics. Our metrics means that we're tracking our numbers, we're measuring. Once they're measuring, now we have to look at them, analyze them, find out what's going good, what's not going good, and what we need to adjust. So it's financial, that's one of the metrics, but there are many others. We'll look at that today. And last is our characteristics, our habits, our mindset. Are we truly prepared to put this into action? So those are some of the things that we're going to be thinking about as we go along today. Best business practices. Let's talk about that for a minute. I know sometimes real estate sales seems like the wild, wild west with everybody doing their own thing. But really, there are best business practices that Fortune 500 companies use that can be distilled down and adapted specifically for real estate brokerages. So the first one is written policies and procedures. Now, some of us, we're required to have those by our state. Others of us, it's not required, but we should all have that, right? So that includes an agent handbook or an agent training onboarding system, operations manual for your staff, your admin, your bookkeeper. Best business practices include tracking, measuring, as we said, and then benchmarking. So benchmarking is where you compare your business to the competitors or an industry standard to find out how you're doing. If your gross margins are 20% and theirs are 30%, you know there's some room for improvement, right? And also corporate protocol. That's important too. So what does the system stand for? Save yourself stress, time, energy, money. Who wants that? Me? Anybody else want a system? Save yourself stress, time, energy, money. Woohoo! Okay, let's keep going. So in brokerage systems, what can you systematize? What about your transaction processing? Do you have a transaction coordinator who manages all the transactions, hopefully has everything online, and has a system ready to go? Do you have an office team with assistants and managers who have a system in place? What about your agent hiring, onboarding, training, firing? Do you have systems for that? Do you have policies and procedures manuals? Your marketing, your advertising, your promotions, is that systematized? What about your accountability systems? And I mentioned more GCI. If Johnny Moe's there, shout out to you. Can you systematize your accountability with your agents, their goal setting, their production, their volume? What about your back end office tools? Are we still using Excel, or are we going to use an online system that makes everything easier, not for us, but when we step back, it allows somebody else to come in and take care of that daily work instead of us having to do all the daily tasks? What about contracts, forms, kits? So those are something to think about. Actually, if you go to your worksheet, let's see where that's out on your worksheet. If you go to page 3, you're going to see that there it says our systems for agents, transactions, finances. Those are just a sample, but those are some of the systems that you can have in place. And you might want to write down on here what your company is doing in each of these areas, or if you don't currently have a system, that you can get one in place. So there's some back office technology. There's a lot of criteria to evaluate. Instead of talking about each service one by one, I actually am going to give you a tech tools list. How's that? Everybody excited about that? Our tech tools list, let me get that down for you now. It's going to be one of our free bonuses at the end, but I'm just going to go ahead and make that available now. Tech tools resource list. There you go. Go ahead and download that. What it is, it's a compilation of about 73 different types of tech tools. Yes, that's a lot that we use in our real estate brokerage, and some various options that other brokerages are using. So if you're looking for something new, or you just want to find something that others are using, or maybe you want to try out some different things, experiment and find a better system, it's a great way to do it by looking at what others use, and my tech tools list is a great place to start. Okay, so type into the chat, let me know if you received the tech tools list. It's a very, very valuable resource. Anybody? I should mention that the tech tools list is also available if you take our survey, our tech tools survey. Oh, Janice, Eric, Kelly, Joe received it, Zena. All right, everybody. Woohoo, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, what about your transaction coordinator, your phone system, your bookkeeping system? Okay, so go ahead and take a look at that list. Now we're going to put on our E-Myth hat for just a minute. Talk a little bit about what Michael Gerber says. At the beginning, I shared with you that, we do tasks such as finding buyers, finding sellers, helping sell their properties, representing them. And that's a technician job at our company. Not saying we should never do that, but that is why we hire agents, so they can be the technician and do the sales. And we take a step back, and now we're the manager. We put on the manager hat and we manage our agents. And then once our business grows, we can take a step back from that, put on our entrepreneur hat, and now we're dreamers. We're visionaries. We're entrepreneurs deciding the direction of our business. And that's truly working on your business instead of in your business. So my recommended book here you can see is The E-Myth Real Estate Brokerage. Some of you may have already read The E-Myth with Michael Gerber. I've read it. I love it. And so here's his book specifically for real estate brokerage. Now, coming up pretty soon, we're going to have our Crush the Calendar session. And in that, everybody will hopefully order in advance their wall calendar. You may have seen my posts with my wall calendar on it. Order some markers, some Post-it flags, and set your calendar up for the year. And that is the start of a great system because it's visual. You can see it all at once, and it allows you to plan things by quarter. You can see this calendar is, I'm going to turn on my whiteboard here. And so you can see we've got a quarter here, right? January, February, March. Okay. Sorry, I don't think I drew that very well. All right, we're going to clear it here. No more whiteboard. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So you have quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And that's how you start your systems, right? You have your week, your month, your quarter, and then your year. So step back, get a fresh perspective of the business, look at each of your inputs and how they lead to outputs. Also, is the work you're doing being efficient, or is it being effective? And we'll talk about the difference between those in just a minute. Examine your processes, your procedures, your systems, not just when there's a crisis, but examine them on a regular basis. Maybe quarterly, you and your leadership team want to have a one-day retreat. Get out of the rut of doing the same old thing and innovate. We talked about that last week. Innovation is so important to the continual growth of the business and adapting to change in our market environment. So work on the business, not in the business. What is the difference between being effective versus being efficient? Well, you can see in the little illustration here, there's a lot of room for effectiveness, but within that, there's only a small circle of efficiency, right? So the goal is to focus on the expected output, not just the input, and perform tasks in the best possible manner. So the goal is really, by being efficient, you're going to minimize your time and effort. You keep asking yourself, how could we do this better? Okay, we just did this. We were successful, or maybe not as successful as we wanted. How can we do it better the next time? Now we did it again. How can we do it better the next time? How can we do it better the next time? So there's a cycle of continual improvement. So by doing that, it increases your production or your output. It lowers your costs, and put those together. What does that do? Maximizes profit. That's our number one goal, right, that we said at the beginning today. So procedures. Do you have policy and procedures manuals? How do you set expectations for your agents, your staff, and even for yourself? Do you have investors in your business, and how do they know what to expect from you? How often do you review your procedures? And as we said, we're constantly improving those processes, right? What about your scheduling and project management and those interrelated functions? All right, so now we're going to see who has a policy and procedures manual. I'm going to go ahead and put the poll up. Do you have a policy and procedures manual? Okay, so there's our poll. Go ahead and answer that. Do you have a policies and procedures manual? A, yes, it's required by my state law. B is, yes, I have one. It's not required by my state law, but I still choose to have one, and it's current, it's up to date. C is, I'm not quite finished yet, but we are working on it. Okay, so I know in some states it is required to have a policy and procedures manual. And if you have one, that's great because it's required, but make sure it's not just a boilerplate, that it actually fits your brokerage. B, if you have one and it's up to date and it's working for you, woohoo, great job. Don't forget to go back and revise it every once in a while. And C, if you're not finished working on it, it's a work in progress, as it seems like sometimes a lot of things in business are a continual work in progress. That's okay. I would encourage you to keep going and not give up on it. By the way, remind me at the end, I will be sharing some resources, and my resources will be, one of the resources will be some links where you can find a policy and procedures manual online. There are several different sources that I found. So the important thing is choose one and then adapt it to your brokerage. We're going to go ahead and end the poll here. We have 45% said, yes, it's required by my state law. 36% said, yes, I have a manual, it's up to date. 18% said, not finished, but I'm still working on it. Okay, all right, great job. What is the difference between policies and procedures? This is a question that I get asked often, because we kind of lump it together. We call it policies and procedures manual, right? So policies actually state what and why something that happens, and the procedures explain the how. So an example would be a policy is, our policy is we never take cash or checks from buyers. So that's your policy, because it's based on, maybe the law is that you have to put their funds in a trust account. And because of that, your brokerage has chosen not to have the liability of a trust account. Therefore, you never take money from buyers. So that's your policy. But how does that look? How does it get implemented? It's one thing to read and understand a policy. It's a whole other thing to know, well, okay, so now I know it. How do I do it? So the procedures would explain the how. The procedures might say, for example, the buyers are to keep their check in their pocketbook, and you will meet the buyer at escrow, and the buyer will bring their check and hand it to the escrow officer or the closing attorney or whatever that might be. So the procedures explain how the policy is enacted or enforced. So I hope that makes sense. If you look in most manuals, you're going to see the policy, and then right under that are the procedures, which are the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how it's actually done. Whereas a policy is a statement from management saying, here's what we do at our company and perhaps why. So any questions on that? Please let me know if you have any questions on policies and procedures. I see we have a few more people logging in. Awesome, welcome. So policies are actually based on principles or values of your company or best business practices. And there's a saying from John Maxwell. He says, policies are many, principles are few. Policies will change, principles never do. So every policy at your company is based on an underlying principle. For example, the principle in the what we just talked about with the not taking cash or checks from buyers, the principle might be the brokerage does not want to have the liability of taking money from buyers and putting it into a trust account, right? So that's why the policy is what it is, and that's why the procedures show how to enforce that policy or follow that policy. So I hope that makes sense. Policies, values, those are basic tenets of your company that aren't going to change, although the way you follow it may change from time to time. So what are the benefits of having a policy and procedures manual? Well, first of all, it's clear communication, clear from you and clear about what is expected. And setting good expectations makes for a great working relationship with everybody all around. Wouldn't you agree? Policy and procedures manuals are good management tools as well, and they help give people accurate instructions. Now, because you're a pro at this, you've been in real estate sales for a long time, you think, oh, it's easy. Everybody knows what to do when they get an offer. And we just take it for granted that not everybody knows what we know. It would seem like it's common sense, but it's really not if somebody hasn't been trained that way. For example, if a newbie agent just getting their license comes on, they have no clue where to start. Yeah, they passed the licensing exam, but so what? That gives them no direction as far as how to actually work in the business. And what about those agents who come from another company where, let's just say the brokerage owner or manager maybe wasn't as diligent as you, and the agents didn't have those types of expectations. So it's good to have it in writing. It increases productivity from everybody. And more importantly, it's legal protection. We're required to supervise our agents. How can we supervise them if we never let them know what's expected? Another great thing about having a policy and procedures manual is that it's fairness, not favoritism. So if there's one rule, it's applicable to everybody in the company, and you're not picking and choosing favorites, which could lead to internal clashes. And it also helps you plan ahead too, which is the great thing there. Oh, Kelly. I love you, Kelly. Your question is, any tips of where to get an outline of a procedure or operations manual for a brokerage? Great question. Here's why I love it. because that's my bonus giveaway at the end of today. So stay tuned. I will give you an outline of a policies and procedures manual at the very end. I used to teach a policy and procedures manual for Skill Path. I actually traveled across the U.S., and this was one of my favorite topics that I taught. And the main, one of the main things I would emphasize is to have more than one type of manual. So in my example here, I have an employee handbook, which gives the legal requirements. So that's all the legalese and things you have to legally say. Of course, you're going to make sure that your attorney takes a look at that. And then you have your operations handbook. An operations handbook tells how to do the job. And then you have policies and procedures manuals. And there's also some great examples on NOLO of each of these types. So anyway, it might be a little much, but the good thing is to get started, right? Another thing to have that I recommend is an online format. The reason is because it's accessible, you can change it instantly on the fly, and you don't have to manage all that paperwork. So find a format where you can have everything online, whether it's your back office system for your brokerage. Maybe you have a library or some type of a document download where they can access it, or maybe you have an agent onboarding and you want to put it there, make sure that they sign it. Or maybe you have a completely online system like RoboHelp. Make sure it's where the agents can easily access it and know what's expected of them and ask questions if needed. This is a little example of something that I did for our brokerage. I call it the Forms Library, and all of our agents have access. You can see it's in Dropbox, and they can go in and pull out different documents as needed. So we have, for example, a Forms Library with documents for an assistant if they wanted to hire an assistant. There are, for example, the rules there of hiring an assistant and the forms, legal things, marketing, things that are needed in the office, rental, short sales. So you can see for each of these areas, we have a forms library. And it is very helpful because it's self-serve. They can go in anytime, pull out whatever's needed. Now, how do you gauge performance of yourself, your company, and your agents? And that is with having some type of a dashboard system. So we have our last little poll here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our poll. It's called Daily Dashboard. What daily dashboard gauge do you check first thing every morning? Do you go in and check your bank account balances and see where they're at? Do you look at your previous day's production? Maybe you run reports, or you have reports run and sent to you every morning. Or C, none of the above. You just feel overwhelmed, you throw your hands up, and then you go to a search site online and look for other jobs available. Oh, good, nobody put in C. Okay, so your daily dashboard. What do you check first thing every morning? So it looks like we have about a 1 to 2 vote with bank account to previous day's production. Both of those are great answers. Hopefully we're checking both of those every morning, right? And you may say, I don't really need to check on production. I know what's going on. But isn't it more helpful when you have a report in front of you that actually shows you your numbers? Nothing can motivate you faster than seeing numbers on paper. That's a big fat goose egg, a 0. No closings yesterday, no closings this week. That lights a fire under you, and you know it's time to get busy and say, what can we do today to boost our production for tomorrow? Right? Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Oh, we have exactly 33% said they checked their bank account balance. 67 said previous day's production. And nobody said they're out looking for other jobs because they're sick of being a broker. So awesome. Great. We're in the right place here. So reporting. So let's dive into that a little more. We know if it's not measured, it's not managed. Our best business practice is to run and review our reports every day. So that means every data set. You must set goals, track, monitor, and then evaluate on a regular basis. It's the only way to understand business operations and to improve efficiency and know what's really going on at your company. So here's a sample of a daily dashboard. You can see we have bank accounts, financials, production, marketing, reports, agents, transactions, clients. All of those are things that can be measured. Measure what matters. Wait, let's see. Coincidentally, that's the title of this book that I just got in the mail. Okay, I don't know if you can see it there. Measure What Matters by John Doerr. Very excited to read that. Also, if you go back to your worksheet, your activity worksheet, you're going to see that on page 2. And what I'd like you to do is just take a moment and where your bank account, the first one is bank account, for example. You can see there's a little dial on there. Just ignore that dial, and I want you to write in your own dial. Okay, so the left is 0, and on the right is $10 million or wherever you want it to be. And just go ahead and mark in there for today when you check today. Number 2 is your financials. So go ahead and mark in there. The left side is, not good. The right side is the best. And go ahead and mark in there where you are. And then do your reports, your agents, production, marketing, transactions, and clients. Okay. Okay, we have a question from Joe. Do you have the name of a daily dashboard measurement program I can purchase somewhere? Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and make a note to send that to you because we actually covered it last week in session number 6. Domo is one, Grow is one, CTE Biz, Realty Meter is another. That one's actually just for real estate agents though, but I'm going to send you a list. So when you get your replay of this email, of this webinar tomorrow, you'll get that in there as well. Send list of meters. Okay, great question. Thanks for asking. So when you're checking how your company is doing, maybe you decide that it's too much for one person and you want to delegate the responsibility. So you as a brokerage owner, you want to split your job up 3 ways: hire a transaction manager, a recruitment and retention manager, and a training manager. Maybe you're too small to have 3 managers like this, or maybe it's just not going to work for you at this time, but it's something that you could definitely think about implementing in the future as a way to have those people each run their reports and then they're reporting back to you. And then you come to your office in the morning and guess what? Here's your report from your transaction manager telling you about your volume and your closings. Here's your report from your recruitment manager telling you how many agents you're recruiting. Here's your training manager telling you how the agents are doing that are, working in the field and how he's doing on training them or she. Okay. So here's an example of a new agent setup checklist. And this was actually in our giveaway last week, which was our new agent onboarding package, right? So first of all, you switch their license, you add them to a list. They have to sign the handbook, the agreement, that you set them up with a phone number, a website, you need a photo of them, set them up with email, put them in the realtor membership, MLS, add them to the email list and the birthday card list. Also get them a business signature, send them a welcome email, and then change their email. So this is an example of a system of steps you would do setting up a new agent for their onboarding. So again, and then this would be something that you probably send them And again, this is in my agent onboarding package that you received last week. But again, I would send them an email and I would say, welcome, a little bit about the company. Here's the events coming up, blah, blah, blah. So I would let them know in a letter, like here's all the things that agents need to do as well. By the way, we have a really great onboarding session coming up. Mark your calendars. It's going to be on the same series, but November 28th, Wednesday, same time. Okay, we have a great webinar coming up jointly with Brokerment. We're going to be talking about agent onboarding. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, so it's going to be collaborative. We're going to go through the system of their agent onboarding system, and we'll be talking about the importance of it, looking at my packet, and I'll be giving you some great tips about hiring, recruiting, bringing agents on, and getting them trained. Okay. So your goal is to take action. What does that mean? Outline your systems. Measure, gauge your performance with your daily dashboard. Make sure you have policies and procedures manuals and an agent recruiting and hiring processes. So here is our list of 3 recommended books for today. I have a few more I'll show you as well. So our first one is Real Estate Brokerage, a Management Guide. So I'll show you that one. There's actually several different versions of it. It's from Dearborn Real Estate Education. So this is the 7th edition that I have here. You can see that. And I also have the 5th edition. And then you can see on a slide here, we have the 6th edition. And this covers everything. Just give you an example of some of the topics covered in it. It's basically about the internal operations of your brokerage. So it covers leadership, management skills, communications and decision-making, analyzing the business environment, analyzing the market, developing a plan, structuring the organization, business systems, structuring finance, business policies and procedures, marketing and advertising, staffing, professional competency, coaching, critiquing operations, managing risk. Oh, by the way, managing risk is our topic next week. Okay, so there's that one. Then we have 2 more interesting books that are not necessarily for real estate brokerages, but very applicable to our topic today. So we have Jennifer Geary with How to Be a Chief Operating Officer. Now, in a Fortune 500 company, they're going to have the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, and then under the CEO are going to be a few key positions. The COO, Chief Operating Officer, is one of those key positions because that person is responsible for all the inner workings of the company. And as a brokerage, maybe we're not at that level where we hire somebody and pay them a 6-figure salary to be a COO, but there are valuable lessons that we can learn that we can, transport over into our real estate business that we can implement to make our company more effective, more efficient, and maximize profit. So that's a great book. And then we have Build a Business, Not a Job with David Finkel. He's pretty famous. And he talks about, we're an entrepreneur, but are we working as Michael Gerber says, the technician doing everything, or are we thinking on a higher level and building a business, not a job just over broke for ourselves, right? Okay, Joe said, I think scaling a business is so important. Creating my commission split structure has been a huge priority of mine. Do you have any advice on a correct and scalable way to set this up? I'm really glad you asked that question. Not to go back, but last week was week 6. We talked about strategy and competition and scaling the business, which was really important, as you said. So he gave some tips for that. And then the week before, which was session number 5, it was actually an extended 2-hour session. And we went over agents and commission setup and things like that. Although I didn't give specific individual details, I did give a good overview of the structure and the concepts. And, due to the Sherman Antitrust Act, it's not something that we can openly discuss rates of compensation with each other. However, as a consultant, I would be happy to meet with you or your leadership team and help you hammer out something and put something into place that's very effective and is going to last a long time. And again, you might just want to start with, going back to the previous ones. And by the way, oh, yes, Michaela says, do you have a place where we can rewatch all of the sessions? Yes, thank you for asking. If you look, it's pinned up at the top. That's our mastermind package. And I've given you a coupon code up there. I'm going to go ahead and type that in again as well. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I just typed it into the chat as well. It's our course where we've packaged everything. So far, there's 6 courses. After today, there will be 7 courses because this will be the newest course. And then next week will be 9 courses. And we're going to add a bonus course in there, which is Crush the Calendar too. So let's get going so we can talk about that as well. I'll have some resources for you today, some great things that you can use to systematize your business and make sure that you have, everything standardized so that everything is being done automatically, 80%, and that allows you to step back and do 20% and work on your business instead of in your business. We also have a system for agent training called Realty Pro Academy, and we can give you some information on that as well. It's a place where agents can go, and we've partnered with Realty Pro Academy to make sure that all brokerage owners can access that for their agents. And we do have a free gift for you, so thank you for waiting so patiently. Here's our last gift for today, our Tech Tools resource list. Okay, so I put that in the download. I want to go ahead and grab that out of there. Now, again, this was already a free bonus for anyone who's taken our Tech Tools survey. So if you've already taken the survey, you probably already have this. And if not, go ahead and download it. It's a very comprehensive list. I think you'll like it. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm here for you. Oh, I already gave this as a list, didn't I? Okay, let me give you the other one. Policy manual topics. All right, so there we go. The long-awaited topic, which is policy and procedures manuals. So these are topics that you would want to have for your policies and procedures. Any questions? Please let me know. Joe says, thanks, you're very helpful. Yay, you're welcome. Great. So again, the 2 things I'll be sending you are the list of meters or, gauging systems. And then also I will be sending you a list of, making myself a little note here, a list of policy manual policy manual sources, I guess we'll call it, because I found probably about 6 or 8 different sources where you can get a good brokerage policy and procedure manual online. Everybody says, thank you. You're welcome. Awesome. Great. So in summary, today we learned about the 7th of the 12 steps needed to build your brokerage empire. And we learned about the Fortune 500 concepts without the M.B.A. price tag. And so today we have a little offer for you. This is not an offer, but this is something coming up, okay? Crush the Calendar session is going to be December 5th and December 12th. Stay tuned. It'll be right here in this group, in this session. It'll be continuing on from what we've already been doing. And I'm going to show you how to set your schedule, set your calendar, and I'll be giving you a wonderful bonus, which is dates that brokerage owners really need, showstopper dates that you need to be successful. Oh, thank you. Hot off the press. Thank you, Carlton. So you got famous on a webinar. Look what I just got in the mail. Chief Operating Officer. Woohoo! Okay. And a brand new hardback copy, Build a Business, Not a Job. Yay! Oh, yes. Will everyone get the list of resources? Yes, what I normally do is there's a follow-up email that comes from Webinar Jam 24 hours after this webinar. So I will put all the resources into that email and I will send that over with it. So it's just going to be like a list of some links and things like that. Now let's talk about Max Money Marathon. How many people want to rewatch a replay of every single session for free? We already gave you a place where you can go in and you can purchase it for our discounted rate of $195, which, by the way, is a huge bargain because our normal price for each course is $99. So if you want to watch it for free, that's okay too. That will be December 19th. We will have back-to-back episodes, back-to-back, all the way 1 through 8, and then we'll have Crush Your Calendar, a recap. So Max Money Marathon, all-day replays starting at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Yep, you got to get up a little early, us California people, to catch the start of it. But we'll have session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone's favorite session, number 5. Woohoo! Agent recruitment and profitability. And that'll be at 12 noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And it'll go right on through to session 6, 7, 8. And then we'll have Crush Your 2019 Calendar as the last one, which will actually be a replay because it will have been played the previous 2 weeks. Okay, great. So if you're ready, you can sign up for that one, and I will send the code for sign up for Max Marathon. Actually, I'll just go ahead and put the code in right now since we have a couple of minutes. Let's see your links. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the code in right now if you want to sign up for the Max Money Marathon all-day replays from session number 1 all the way through number 8. Or if you want to sidestep all of that and you just say, I want it all right now. And you get, by the way, you get all the bonuses, all the handouts, all the resources, everything comes with it. And you can watch it at your own convenience. That one is $195 with our discount code, and the link is pinned up to the top. So either way, hope you enjoy that. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today to Step 8, Risk Management. Start your brokerage. And that's all we have for you today. Oh, we do have business plans. Okay, forgot about that. And consultations. You can contact me. And next week is session 8, which is risk management. So how do we stop our slideshow here? Turn off. Okay. All right, everybody. This is Regina signing off. Unless anybody has any further questions, Kelly says, I appreciate your time. You're welcome. Janice says, another excellent session. Thank you, Janice. Wonderful. Jamie says, thank you. Yay, everybody. I hope you have a great money-making week, and I hope you have a great Wealthy Winning Wednesday. So we'll see you all later, and let's get busy working on our brokerage, not in it. Okay, everybody, talk to you later. Bye-bye. Donna, Eric says, thank you. Well appreciated. Okay, great. Marcel says thank you. Yay. Wonderful, everybody. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.